There's a transgender man was beaten by a LA County cop. Now, you're going to see exactly what happened, not taken out of context. Here it is.
You did it. Yeah, I did. Get your hands off of me. What are you doing? Oh my God. What the? What the? Get the off me. Get the off me. You're gonna kill me. Oh my God. Help. 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 Stop. 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 Give me your arm. Stop. Fight me again. Stop. I'm not fine. Stop. You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. Help. Help. I'm not resisting. Okay. I'm not.
Put up the picture full mass. 23-year-old Emmett Brock, a trans man, was driving home from his job as a high school teacher. He was beaten. He was arrested because of a coward cop with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office. That cop is now under investigation. Put up the screenshot of when Mr. Brock could have died. You see this move right here? You're trained, if you are an officer, you are aware. You only do that move when an individual has created such resistance that a possible death move is required, because you are taught this move can kill someone, and only to utilize it in the most extreme circumstances. That circumstance was not extreme. The only thing extreme was that cop's criminality and ego. I will explain. Brock said the altercation began when he drove past the deputy who was having a heated conversation with a woman and flipped him off. Seconds later, Brock said he noticed that he was being followed by a sheriff's cruiser. So what's the scene so far? He sees a jerk of a cop being a jerk, which the video proves Mr. Brock was right. Being a jerk, flips him off. That's called freedom. Where are all of the patriots and their protection of freedom? You have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. You have freedom to give someone the finger. It's protected. Brock said he called 911, but the dispatcher allegedly said, "What is it that you want us to do? If he hasn't pulled you over, he hasn't pulled you over." Brock eventually pulled into a 7-Eleven. So he wasn't pulled over, you gotta understand. He pulled himself over, pulled into a 7-Eleven, okay? Where surveillance cameras caught the entire altercation. I will say this about Mr. Brock, that was one of the absolute most genius moves you could have done. You went to an area where other people were standing, a place that had traffic and cameras. It did not stop the criminality of this cop because he believes he's above the law. Why would he ever think that? Because they have been allowed to operate as such. That's the reason. He knew cameras were there. He's on the beat. Because if a crime happens, guess what he has to do? He has to go get those cameras. So he knows that cameras are there. He didn't give a damn. This is how extreme and dangerous this officer is. There's more. Upon revealing to the authorities that he is trans, Brock had to show a female officer his genitals in a bathroom and explain the effects of testosterone. The hell. He was placed in a women's holding cell and released that evening when his girlfriend and family posted bail. Authorities informed his school of Brock's charges 4 days later. He was then fired. There is no mandate to report that I could find. There's only one mandate to report, meaning report back to his school. There's only one circumstance where mandate to report is required, and that's if Mr. Brock had been charged with committing either A, sexual act, or B, any type of aggression and violence against a minor. None of those fit here. They decided to add injury to insult. They decided, after all of this, to hurt this person, this one individual, even more. Brock appeared in court for the first time in April. Prosecutors reduced the charges to 2 misdemeanors: resisting and battery on an officer, which I saw neither. The deputy's statement. Benza wrote in a report, the deputy wrote in a report that he felt his actions were justified, and that he says, or he saw Brock cocking his right hand into a fist as if he was about to throw a punch at him. The deputy added he stopped Brock after he noticed an air freshener on the Honda Civic's rearview mirror, which he said was obstructing Brock's view on the road. My punches had their intended effect, Benza wrote in the report. Now let me explain why he said, well, I pulled him over because of the air freshener. Because there is a dumbass law like that on the books. And the fact he's citing this in his report, which by the way, he likely discovered after the assault. He's citing this on the record because it gives him permission for the encounter. And that's a bad faith utilization of that law. And that's why many jurisdictions have outlawed those pretextual stops. They've outlawed them. They say you can no longer do these things anymore in our jurisdiction because they're used as a gateway to commit acts like you just saw. Statement from the LA Sheriff's Department. The department is investigating the information and allegations brought forward by Mr. Brock and his attorney. Unfortunately, we cannot comment on any further at this time due to the pending litigation in this matter. Well, you all seem pretty damn mouthy commenting on an investigation when you contacted the school Mr. Brock works at, and I guarantee you is a good damn teacher. Nobody cares. You don't care about that. Do you know how many people had to be okay with this mess? From the officer who did it to the supervisor who accepted and signed off on the report that obviously looks silly as hell. You done did all this for an air freshener, and you an LA Sheriff's Office. What? In LA, you got way more issues to deal with than this. To the 911 operator who received a phone call prior and said nothing, did nothing, provided absolutely no guidance whatsoever. And then someone researched where Mr. Brock works, got the phone number, made a direct phone call or sent an email just to harm one human being. This is the heart of many of your law enforcement officers in America. That is why I routinely say, you gotta stop just talking reform and start talking replacement. These individuals are rotten to the core. There's no training that will save them. There's no reform that will save them. It's only enforcement or resignation. All right, sharing thoughts.
I don't know why this another gang member, what's the affiliation here? We'll have to work to learn that. Even bother to pen that nonsense. Sound like Andy Dick wrote it. That's what it sounded like. And I think police can get away with it if they just write the truth. I was looking for a transgender punching bag because that is exactly what happened here. And I have to tell you, that was difficult to watch, Doc, but I applaud you for showing the gritty, raw, nasty truth, the reality of what's out there. This is LA. For a minute, I got lost and I was thinking, is this the backwoods, Georgia, or Mississippi, or what? Is this Alabama? This is LA.
LA. It's everywhere.